Hi, everyone. My name is Adrienne Franklin, and I'm from Riverside, California. And I'm so glad to be here today with Fibre Love Affair. Thank you, Eureka. And it's been a while since I've done a Zoom event, and so this should be fun. Um, I knit gorgeous dolls. I just hand knit little ladies. I love it. I can't stop. Let me tell you, I've been knitting for approximately 20 years. And I knitted sweaters and hats and gloves. And then the grandchildren started coming, so I started knitting toys for them, which I loved knitting the toys, and to see the joy on their faces just excited me more. Um, then my daughter, who is an adult lady, of course, came to me one day and said, "Mom, would you knit a doll for me? Because I saw that you knitted your granddaughter a doll, and I fell in love with her." So I thought, my goodness, I have to knit a doll for my sassy grown daughter, and it can't be a baby doll. It has to be a sassy doll. So that is what started this whole beautiful event of mine of knitting dolls. I haven't been able to stop. I actually have the original doll that I gave my daughter with me today. However, let me start by showing you and introducing you to some of my little ladies. They've been waiting, they're excited. This is Roberta, and Roberta, as you can see, is sitting in her gorgeous little chair. My husband makes the chairs out of wood. So each doll that is sitting comes seated in a handmade chair as well. She's holding a book of knitting. It's called the Big Book of Knitting. I buy these little items for the dolls to hold off of Etsy. Usually I can find something in these doll sizes. My dolls sit in a chair. They're about 10 inches tall, sitting in the chair. Standing, they're about 14 inches tall. I don't know if you can see her well. Can you see her all well? I want to make sure. She also had, I knitted her a little basket. I belong to the Riverside Knitting Guild. Can't see it, huh? There. I knitted her a little knitting basket with some yarn in it. And it's part of the Riverside Knitting Guild that I belong to. She's like a compilation of all of the ladies that are in the guild. This little lady is Lily, and she has a little handbag. She has a little purse on her wrist, which I make out of plastic canvas. I don't know if you've worked with plastic canvas, but it's fun. I found it to be fun, and I'm a novice, but I delved deep into the plastic canvas realm when I started knitting with it. My favorite yarn to use is merino and silk. I just love the feel of it. It's so soft. That's usually my go-to. And if you see any shine, I don't know if you can see, there's some shiny yarn in there. I buy my shiny yarn from the Crafty Jackalope. She has beautiful yarns, Amanda does. So, and look at her beautiful slippers that I just started learning how to knit shoes for my dolls in 2021. Prior to that, all of my dolls were barefoot. They had polish on their nails, as you can see she does. She is actually one of my earlier works. I've changed her dress and her shoes. This is Mini Me. I made her, I think, in 2018. I was looking online and I saw a lady who made clay models. And I thought, oh, maybe she can make me a business card holder, a doll. And then I gave it more thought and I can make it myself. So I did. I I reached out and asked my husband to make me a business card holder here. And I created this little lady. I was much thinner then. But this is my mini me, my self-portrait. She's also wearing eyeglasses. I make eyeglasses as well for any doll that I get an order for that needs glasses. You see, she's knitting and she has knitting needles. My husband also makes the knitting needles for me. And she has a little lace scarf that she's knitting. The jewelry I make, I go to the yarn stores or the craft stores and I buy jewelry like from Joann's, but I try to find the smallest jewelry that they have. And when I get home, I take the jewelry apart so that I can make earrings, wristwatches. Everyone gets an Apple Watch. All my little ladies get an Apple Watch and a faux diamond on their finger. I make necklaces, bracelets, rings. Now this little lady, make sure I get it right. I saw Lupita, let me make sure I say it correctly. Lupita Nyong'o, I believe is how it's pronounced. And I fell in love with her. I've been watching her in the movies. I also have fell in love with Karine Jean-Pierre, who is our White House press secretary. And this is my idea of these two beautiful women. I've seen them both in yellow and I just loved the yellow. I made a little stitch here on her blouse. You can see it's a knit and purl type stitching. I try to come up with something different on some of the dolls, especially on my custom orders, which she is not a custom order doll. She's just a doll that I made to display. And here are the heels. I want you to take a good look because I knit them in as I'm knitting the leg. I used to just knit the leg and the foot, but now I'm able to create a color shoe as well while I'm knitting it. The heel itself, I take a piece of wood, usually a skewer. I paint the tip, let it dry, then I cut it and I put it through the bottom when I'm stuffing her, I put it through the bottom of her shoe and glue it in place. And she has a heel. And she has her jewelry on as well. She's holding an iPad. I don't know if you can see it there. There it is. But she has an iPad, and that's her beautiful bracelet. She has a ring on this finger as well as a ring on this finger. And she has her nail polish on and earrings. This is Gina. Let me show you Gina. Actually, she can come out of her chair. I wanted you to see the chair as well. But this is Gina. And if you look at her shoe, you'll see that I did a little chain stitch around the top of the shoe just to give it a added dimension. And she is wearing a shawl. I decided I'm going to knit a beautiful shawl for her. I knitted this lace shawl and I put a little pearl button here. Let me see if I can take her button off of the come on, Gina. take off your shawl. Let the ladies see what I made. Here we are. And this is her shawl. And you can see the lace there. So it was very pretty and easy for me to make for her. She's also holding a beautiful little purse in her hand that I knitted and put a little piece of jewelry there. And she has on 2 bracelets. Yeah. And a beautiful necklace. They kind of decide what type of jewelry they want to wear. After I make them, they kind of speak to me and tell me what they want, what looks best on them. I listen and they smile at me, I smile at them, and it's all good. It's all love. Now I'll show you the very first doll that I knitted, that started this whole love of dolls for me. This is the doll, and don't laugh. I thought she was the cat's meow. You know, it was like, oh my goodness, look at what I've done. Look at me. I am all that in a bag of chips. I but here she is. This is Nyla. This is the doll I knitted for my daughter. And at the time, I told my husband, you know, when I was knitting her, when I go inside, I told my husband, I think she's going to stand up and walk when I go back inside. She was actually coming alive to me. That is the connection that I got with these dolls. And look at her hands. This is how I used to knit them. I would knit the hands separately and sew them on to the arms, and they sort of look kind of Frankensteinish, but you couldn't tell me that this wasn't the cat's meow. I'm like, oh, no, 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 I've got this, I've got this. And it's from a pattern that I found on the internet called Bonnie. As you can see, I have a lot of writing back then. This was in 2015, I believe, or 2016 when I made this doll. And I tried using this pattern and I had such a hard time that I went off and did a lot more on my own. I kind of tweaked it a bit. But I did write the pattern maker and asked her, would it be all right if I created these dolls and sold them? And she said, yes, yes, please do. Still have her email to this day. But this was the bracelet that I knitted. I think it was an I-cord that I knitted there. And I put a piece of jewelry around her ankle. And to me, she was the sassy lady. So I was very pleased with her. Nyla, oh, my daughter named her Nyla because we're originally from New York and my daughter lives in LA. So she said NYLA, Nyla is her name. Now I'd like to show you how I make these dolls. I actually have a PowerPoint that I'd like to share with you on how I make the dolls. Give me a moment. Here we go. Well, the very first thing I do, that I pick the skin tone. I offer 6 different shades of skin tone so that you can get the shade of doll that best represents you or as a gift for a person you want to give the doll to. But yes, they come in 6 different skin tones. I find it difficult to find skin tones, and when I do, I cherish it because it's not easy sometimes. Then I take out my supplies once I've chosen my skin tone for the doll. And I love double points or circular needles. Size 3 is usually what I start with, on all of my dolls, and I work my way down to a 000 for the fingertips. When I'm doing the fingers, I use 000. There you'll see I have a magnifying glass, which I don't know if it's here. Oh yeah, here it is. I don't know if you can see it here, but yes, I use a magnifying glass around my neck. I have bright lighting in here, LEDs and lamps and LED lamps. Of course, I have scissors and a clamp. A clamp is excellent tool to pull the yarn through sometimes when I'm trying to get a stitch to work for me. And of course, a crochet hook, a very small one. I think it's a size 8, G8 that I use right here. And a stuffing stick, because I have to stuff them with polyester fiber gel. And of course, a row counter. This little lady, oh, I didn't show her to you. When I come back, I will show her to you. She is my pincushion. Her name is Miss Ouch. I will show her to you when I come back. Just remind me. So I begin knitting. I usually knit the arms and fingers first. And then I knit the body. And the white at the bottom are her panties. And I was told by my daughter, my granddaughter, that, Grandma, why are her panties so big? Well, women today, I guess, wear bikinis, and back in my day, we wore panties and covered our buns, but the younger people today wear very skimpy. So I now knit skimpy panties onto my dolls, just because my granddaughter she was just floored. She couldn't believe it. Grandma, really? Where are you getting these big panties from? And then I knit the legs. And here she does not have shoes. If she had shoes, her feet would be a different color. I would knit the shoe in with the skin tone, the color of the shoe and the skin tone, which is sort of like carrying the yarn, stranded knitting, but in very small detail to carry the colors. And here are the pieces. The only thing missing here are ears, and I knit ears, but for some reason, they're not in this picture. Now I'm stuffing. For my dark tone, skin tone dolls, I use black polyester fiber fill. For my light color skin tone dolls, I use white polyester fiber fill. And the skeletal system, I use pipe cleaners. I don't use regular pipe cleaners that you buy in the craft store. I actually go to the smoke shop and I buy pipe cleaners that men use or women use to clean pipes with. I find them a little more sturdier, harder, and more size appropriate for my little ladies. And I got that idea from my husband. I had no idea when I was looking around for pipe cleaners, and I went to the craft store and brought home the pipe cleaners, and they were just so thin. He said, well, why don't you go to the store and get pipe cleaners, real ones? Why would I know that? But I thanked him very much. And here she is now. I've seamed her. I used the mattress stitch to seam her up, and you can actually see here the point of the pipe cleaner from her toe. I haven't pushed it in. I do a lot of tweaking on my little lady. But this is how she looks once I begin to stuff her and seam her. Aha, she's sitting in her chair. Stick pins are wonderful. I use them all the time in their hands. They don't mind. They don't mind. They know that I mean well. But she has a stick pin here and a stick pin here for the photo shoot. Here's another view. And another view in the back. Aha, time for her face. So I use stick pins to start, just to give me a dimension where I'm going, how many stitches apart will her face take. They usually, right now, they all take about the same, about 3 or 4 inches stitches apart. I'm really putting her eyes and her nose on and her lips. Now she and I are talking to each other. She's telling me whether she likes her eyes the way they are, if I need to tweak them, what about her nose, her lips. I'm constantly tweaking. And those strands up there are just from her eyes, her nose, her lips. You'll see all different kinds of strands. There's a close-up. My dolls in the beginning didn't have eyebrows because I made very large eyelashes and they were knitted eyelashes. So now I don't use knitted eyelashes anymore. So they get eyebrows now. Now I've chosen her dress color. I had some baby bamboo in my stash, so I thought, I think I'll use it. This is a beautiful color. I think her dress will be lovely. And I begin her dress. Once I start knitting the dress, I soak them in eucalyptus and let them air dry on my pad. All the clothing are soaked in eucalyptus. But then about her hair, I've got to make hair for her. So I decided that she would have black curly hair. Now to make my black curly hair, I use skewers. I roll the yarn, as you can see, onto the skewer, as many as I may think I need, and I usually have to go back and make more. Then I turn my oven on to 350 degrees. I get out my pie pan or my cake pan, and I place them on the top of the pan. I don't sit the yarn, the skewers in the pan, but I sit them on the top of the pan, and with a few drops of water in the pan, in the bottom of the pan. Put that in the oven for 20 minutes. And when it comes out, it's very curly. I have one here of another color that I'll show you. I don't know how well this is going to come out. I can show you after. But when I take it out of the oven after about 20 minutes, it's so curly, just so curly. And I can cut it. I can make that long, I can make it short. And there she is. Right now that her hair is in, and I put in one strand at a time. So it takes me a while. These dolls are not made overnight. They're not made in a week. You must give me weeks to make a doll. Just knitting the body part takes about a week. And then knitting the clothing, I have to make a decision on the clothing, unless I get a custom order. Sometimes I have to order yarn if I get a custom order and I don't have that color on hand. So they do take weeks for me to make. Here I'm putting in her polish. I've already polished her toenails with red yarn, and I'm polishing her fingertips with red yarn. She's wearing her jewelry, which I never thought I would be making jewelry, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And there she is. There she is. I always, when I put the jewelry on, I always put a little dab of glue onto the jewelry to make sure they don't come off, because my very first custom order doll, the jewelry, one of her earrings fell off. I was shocked. I was appalled. I said, this will never happen again. So I always add just a little dab of glue. I use a toothpick because even the hole in the small glue is just the drop is too much. So I use a toothpick and take a tip off of that drop and make sure the jewelry stays intact. And I've given her a glass of wine. We've had a busy time here, and I thought, what better way to end this video than her holding a beautiful glass of wine. Okay. And there she is. She is not with us anymore. She sold, of course. She went, that was a quick sell. I actually told Eureka I couldn't do her show last year because I had, the year before, I had a large order of 15 dolls, and she was one of those dolls that went to New York. So let me show you the yarn before I move on. The hair. This is how it comes off of the skewer. As you can see, it's very curly. And then I cut it. And then when I'm putting it in her hair, I use a crochet hook and pull it through the bar in the stitch from the top of her head and knot it in place. And I do this 1, 2, 3, and then I cut and style it according to the beauty of the look I'm trying to achieve. Here is the black polyester fiber felt and the white polyester fiber fill. You can buy them online. It does come in black if you ever need it. Now I would like to show you Nina Simone. I don't know how many people are familiar with Nina. She's from back in my day, and before my day, actually. She's no longer with us, but she was a jazz, folk, gospel. She sang everything. She sang everything, and I loved her, and I made her. Now she plays the piano, so before I could make Nina, I had to make a piano, and I thought, oh my gosh, how the heck am I going to make a piano?
Oh, stop.
Huh? How can I make a piano? Well, I did. I figured I know I can make the doll, but it's the piano I wasn't sure of. So I decided, let me make a piano first. If I can do that, then I can make Nina. So I found a pattern online for I want to say a 19th century piano. It wasn't the style I was looking for, of course. So I tweaked the plastic canvas piano from another century, and I came up with this piano. And I made a little sign there that said Nina Simone. I also had to make a microphone because she does sing. And I don't know if you can see inside. I do want you to see the inside. And here's Nina. Sitting on her piano bench. I love these earrings. She spoke to me and told me what she wanted, and this beautiful dress. Nina is much smaller than my other dolls because I made the piano first. And I was so happy when I realized I could make the piano. I made it. I did it. And so then I had to make Nina a little smaller than my normal dolls. She's a tiny little thing, but she fit in her piano. So that was a true challenge for me. Making the microphone was the other challenge because they did not have a pattern for that. I had to write my own pattern for that. So with the help of a toothpick and a piece of skewer, which I cut and painted, and I knitted a little silver ball for the microphone, and then glued it down into the piano. And here she is. I put her in the LA County knitting competition that they have once a year, and she won 3 awards. She won first place twice, once for the piano and once for her. And she also won a special judges award just because I did something miraculous. So I ended up with 3. I was praying for 1, and I ended up with 3 ribbons. So that was beautiful. Making her hair, I looked at tons of pictures of Nina online, tons of them, and I came away with this particular style. And I put a black ribbon around it, around her bun there. and I made her little high heels, pink high heels. I knit different styles. I did do through the back loop just to give the dress a little different texture. I love knitting through the back loop. It's quick, it's easy, it's neat. And at the top, I'll do a little knit and purl on. But that's Nina. And now I'd like to show you Tina Turner. I knitted two Tina Turners, so I'm going to bring one Tina Turner out, the very first one that I knitted. I'll bring her to you. This was the Tina that I made. Now, I had told a friend that I was going to make Tina Turner, and the next day after I spoke to him, I heard she had passed away. And I thought, oh my goodness, I really have to make her now. I really, really do. And I couldn't make her without making that microphone because when she danced, that microphone danced with her. It went wherever she went to the side, it was going to the side. That's the Tina I remember. But this is the very first lady Tina that I made. And she has on her gold shoes as well. The microphone, that's the plastic canvas at the bottom. A wooden tubular here. And then I knitted her microphone and put a little gold yarn around the pole. And she has her earrings on. Now I noticed most singers today don't wear jewelry or minimal amount, which makes sense. They don't want it flying off during their show. So I looked, I searched the web, I looked at tons of pictures. I read her book again because I read I, Tina when it first came out in the 80s. And I saw her film, her biography on TV. I watched that. I played Tina day and night while I was knitting her. So I was all things Tina at the time. And it was fun in here, let me tell you, between Nina Simone and Tina Turner, I have been dancing my buns off. I'm sitting now while I'm dancing, of course, because I can't knit and stand up and dance at the same time yet. But I had fun. Then I received an order for another Tina. Someone wanted it, asked me if I would give them my Tina, would sell them my Tina. And I told her, oh, no, 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 but I will make another Tina. So I have to ship her off Monday. I promised her she would be there Monday. And here she is in all her glory. She's wearing silver. And she will be going to Montana on Monday. See if I can move this over just a bit so you can see her shoes. She's got on silver shoes. I put a strap across them because I did see a photo of her with shoes on and they had a strap across. And just earrings. I did not put any more jewelry, you know, because she likes to dance and she doesn't want to lose her jewelry while she's dancing. These were fun. These are specialty orders. These are not my regular dolls, as you can see. Now, I would like to show you another PowerPoint. I make toys. I love toys. So let me bring up that PowerPoint of some toys that are not here. They're with the grandchildren, of course. So let me bring that up for you. I only have a few here to share, and then I have a few sitting around here that I've kept for myself. This is Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Alan Dart, I love him. He is a pattern writer. He writes toy patterns. He's in the United Kingdom. If you want to knit a toy, please go to his site and see the toys that he has. They are fabulous. He has a pirate. For some reason, for years I've been looking at this pirate pattern, and I don't have the chutzpah to knit him yet. And why do I need a pirate? I don't know. It's just amazing to me that he has this pattern on his site. But anyway, I saw Rudolph one Christmas and I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to knit Rudolph. So I did. I knitted him, and I used to go to shows back then before COVID, and I knitted maybe four, five, I think it was five of them, and I took them out with my dolls to the show, and they sold right away. I No problem selling Rudolph. But he's adorable. If you want to knit him, please go to Alan Dart. If you have any problems with his reading his pattern, just email me. I'll help you get through it, because he makes little parts. And I suggest that if you're going to knit it, please tag the parts so that you'll remember what parts they are and how to put it together. But once you do, it's heartwarming. It's just heartwarming. But that's Rudolph. And this little unicorn is by a dear friend of mine's and Eureka, Rabbits and Robots. She produced this pattern, and I thought, oh, my granddaughter's going to love this one. I'm going to take my time. And this was all stashed yarn. I couldn't believe it. I had what I wanted for the colors to create this beautiful unicorn. Wonderful pattern, a lot of short rows, yeah. Just wonderful. It was fun. Took time because I had to make it sit. And she shows us how. She's step by step. Beautiful pattern. Rabbitsandrobots.com. Yes, I love her too. And then this little lady. Oh my goodness, look at this. Is this too cute? Twins Knit Blogspot, twinsknit.blogspot. I started knitting their toys when I first started knitting toys years ago. And I haven't stopped. I still go back there and peek to see if they have anything new or different that I want. But they were easy, even though they may not look easy, but they are easy to follow. And I just love them. I just love all of their patterns as well as Alan Dart's pattern. Oops, went the wrong way. Hi, Uni. And here's some rabbits that I made for the brands. I wanted to keep them. I just fell in love with them. I wanted to keep them for myself. But my daughter said she'll make sure that they're fine. They're all. And this little Lovey, I call her Lovey because I've knitted her a couple of times as gifts for people who have grandchildren. I've given them as gifts. I thought she was cute too. And this is another twin knit Blogspot doll. And that's it. Now I'll show you the ones that I have here that I've kept for me, the more adult ones. I'll start with my elephant. This is Magnificent. Her name is Magnificent. So if you like elephants, you'll love Magnificent. I've got to fix this well. You can see her there. This pattern, this is an African elephant, and it's by Georgina Manville. Georgina Manville. And you can find her pattern. Yeah, let's see, I have it here. I think it's on Etsy, yes. Old Toys Knitting Shop. She has some wonderful patterns there. She's also on Ravelry, Georgina Mandel. But this is, she's beautiful. She's made with cellulose. Anybody ever work with cellulose paper yarn? Very difficult to work with. I did pop it once as I was seaming it off and I pulled too tight and it actually broke. But it broke it with me enough to leave me enough to start over and fix it. But this is my beautiful, magnificent, that's her name. And this, my Peruvian llama. This is by Alan Dart of the UK. This is another one of his patterns. Beautiful, beautiful. I had so much fun knitting my Peruvian llama. This is I think that I made one as a gift. It's a baby shower gift for a lady who was from Peru. Her daughter was having a baby. Ah, for Halloween. You want to create something for Halloween? You got to check this out. This is Alan Dark from the UK. This is his pattern. I tweaked it a bit, but here she is. I call her Ephiba from Wicked. If anyone's read Wicked or seen the musical, this is my interpretation of Ephiba. And Ephiba, of course, had a cat. And that's part of the pattern from Alan Dark, the cat. Can you see the cat's face? He actually has a face. And whiskers. And a witch couldn't be a witch without a cauldron. And there's the cauldron. Can you see it? I just put a little polyester fiber fill in there to give it a little steamy effect. Thank you, Ephiba. Black polyester fiber fill to make the cap. Okay. And what else I have? Oh, I forgot. I have to show. I promised to show her to you. This is my pin cushion. I was looking for a pin cushion many years ago, and I didn't want the average everyday pin cushion. So I went online and I found this. I think it was Ravelry. I found this pattern, and I called her Miss Ouch. And here she is. She's my pin cushion. This was my first attempt at working with size 3, size 000 needles, and I promised myself I wouldn't do it again, but of course I have. I went back to those tiny little knitting needles after knitting sweaters and gloves and hats. But she was a joy. I just didn't want the regular pin cushion at the time. Oh, and the bottom here is from a paint roller. I said, oh, I need cardboard or something. And so my husband said, why don't you use the paint roller? This way, when you give her a bath, if you have to bathe her, it'll be okay because the paint roller accepts water. So he cut a piece for me just the size I needed from here to here to go on the bottom. And it worked out perfect. So if you ever need something like that, paint roller, just cut it. And this is Alan Dart as well. She is knitting a heart. She's my black sheep knitting a heart. And I have one more here. I knitted two. And there she is. And now I'd like to show you some custom order dolls. They're not here, they're on my PowerPoint. So I will pull that up right quick so that you can see the PowerPoint. So I went too fast. Here, this little lady, she was given to a teenage girl, so I don't have a picture of the little girl that I had to create this doll from because of her age. I didn't want her to be here, but this is a beautiful doll that I made. I was given a picture and asked if I could make this doll for this beautiful little lady. And I did. And it was really a joy. She was actually wearing a dress similar to this, and she was wearing slippers. If I recall, she was at the beach and she had her slipper in her hand, but I put them on her feet for this show. Ah, and this I received, this was a gift for this lady, Joanne. She, her friend asked me if I would knit the doll as a birthday present for Joanne. And this was my interpretation of the picture that I was sent of Joanne. Did I nail her? Did I get it? She thinks I did. She says, oh my God, she looks like me. She looks like me. Let me go back to the very first one here. The doll that I just showed you in the green dress with that was at the beach. Her older sister wanted the doll, so I had to. So this is one sister, and this went to the other sister, and this is Joanne. And this was another one that went to my great granddaughter. She turned 10. She's been wanting a doll from me for many years, and she was just too little to have one of my adult dolls. So I told her, when you turn 10 years old, I'm going to make a doll. Any doll you want, you tell me. And this was what she wanted. I made this doll for another young lady. Her grandfather called me and asked me if I would make a doll for his granddaughter. So I made a doll for his granddaughter. And then he sent me another picture and he said, well, could you make two dolls? Because, oh, that's Linda. I'll come back to Linda. Here she is. Because she takes gymnastics. So I made the two dolls for her. This was fun. I had never done anything like this before. It was a challenge, and I love a challenge, and I took it on and created this little doll. And this is Linda. Linda and I have been friends for, I don't want to give away well, why not? I'm 76 years old. Ta-ta. And we grew up together. She lives in Florida, and her cousin called me and he said, Adrian, Linda's birthday is coming up. Could you make a doll for me? I want to give it to Linda as a gift. So this is Linda. She's crazy, crazy, love her to death. And this is the doll that I came up with to represent Linda. And she was fascinated. She loved it. She said, you nailed it. You got me. You got me. And she's holding a glass of wine. So custom orders are fun. And this lady was a custom order as well. I didn't get the okay to use her picture, but these were her favorite colors. Look at her shoes. You can see I put a little, I think it was, I want to say the chain stitch or I-cord, I can't remember now, around the top of the shoe, just to give it an added pizzazz. And I also knitted her a purse. And I put a Bible in it because I have miniature Bibles that I find online. So I put a little Bible in her purse because I know that she is a Christian and she loved it. That's what I was told by the person who sent me her picture. And there she is all jazzed up. And her picture, she was all jazzed up. And these were her favorite colors. And I think that's it. Oh, Oshan. Oshan is actually in LA. She she is a spiritual goddess that I created for the let me see. Here it is. She is a spiritual goddess for people who believe in the Yoruba uh, religion, who conjure spirits. She is part of that. She is the supreme, most powerful female deity. And so they were putting on a show in LA at the William Grant Still Arts Center called Conjure. And they were hoping people would bring in their dolls, make dolls that have to do with conjure. A lot of people made altars, and I decided to go with the goddess herself. And her favorite color, I tried to incorporate yellow and gold. And she is, let me see here. She is the Orisha of beauty, love, rivers, waterfalls. So I did a, on her outfit, I did a mermaid knit because she's the goddess of rivers and waterfalls as well. Beauty. That was fun. And making her earrings was even more fun because I brought pieces of jewelry and took it all apart, and a necklace. I had different pieces of jewelry. Yeah, that was fun. She's coming home in about a week. The show will be over, and I will go and retrieve her. Am I out of time, or do I have one more minute? I want to show. Can I show one more item? I forgot to show my tree. I knitted a tree. It was a contest at the knitting guild. So I knitted a cherry blossom tree. They gave us 2 balls of yarn and told us that we can create whatever we wanted, depending on, of course, the colors in the bag that was sealed at the time of the 2 balls of yarn. So I came home with the 2 balls of yarn, opened the bag, and these were the colors that I had, the pink and the brown. And I thought, oh my goodness, I closed the bag. What can I make? We had months to create something. It wasn't that we had to bring it back right away. They gave us months. But when I looked in the bag again, I saw cherry blossom tree. And I thought, my gosh, how am I going to knit a cherry blossom tree? So I thought about it. I went out into my front yard. My neighbor was cutting his tree, and it was a grapefruit tree, actually. He was cutting the limbs down, just pruning it a bit. So I picked up some of the pieces and brought them in the house and let them dry out. And I took some of them and I made stems, the branches from the pieces. This is also under here. It's actually part of the branch from a tree. And I just knitted around it. And then I went online and found a pattern for the cherry blossom. I think it was oddknit.com, ODD knit.com. And they have all kinds of flowers and things. And I thought, oh, okay, I will make those. And so I started knitting the cherry blossoms. There's over 100 cherry blossoms here. And I would knit a few, put them in a bag, and go ahead and knit my doll that I was knitting. So come back and knit a few. And you could use any other type of anything else you needed. Just the main feature of whatever you were knitting, you could only knit with the yarn, those 2 colors that was in the bag. So I introduced, excuse me, some neon yellow embroidery thread because I was allowed to do that for the project. Needless to say, it was a big hit. And I'm thinking of putting her in LA, my tree, in the LA County Fair competition. Hope to win a ribbon. if anybody would like one of these, 4 ladies, excluding my mini me, of course, there is a discount of free shipping available. My dolls usually run, my custom dolls run $220, but these dolls, because they're not custom, they're already made, are $180 with free shipping. So if you're interested, you can go to my site at www.handknitgorgeousdolls.com or email me at handknitgorgeousdolls at gmail.com. It's all Hand Knit Gorgeous Dolls. Also, I'm on Facebook, Hand Knit Gorgeous Dolls on Facebook, and Hand Knit Gorgeous Dolls on Instagram. And I think I'm out of time, Eureka.
Thank you so much, Adrienne.
You're
You
welcome.
mean
I enjoyed this.